Good morning.
What's going on?
Hey, Robert. Hey, are you doing an REO meeting today in Jeff's absence?
You guessed it, my brother.
All right.
Yeah, they're on a plane right now.
Oh, right on. Yeah,
It
I
wasn't it
was in the
wasn't letting
huddle
me
this morning.
it wasn't letting me log in, so apologize for the delay.
Oh, no worries. I just want to make
Kept
sure
it
I had
kept
the
taking
right.
me to
I was
my
about ready to send
Zoom.
you a text.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
All right, let
good.
me let
Hey,
everybody in real
I got that listing yesterday too, by the way.
nice. Big or small with this
Yes, sir.
tomorrow.
Exactly.
Oh, we've got a number of folks in here. Thanks for being patient. Kelly gave me her username and password, and it just somehow wasn't logging me into the proper one. So thank you for your patience. Let's get started here in just a moment. I'm letting everybody in. I've got some more folks coming in here. More folks coming in. Okay, cool. I'll let them in as we go. But first things first, do we have any REO wins? Any pre or post foreclosure wins to share? I'm going to get recorded too, so give me some go.
I've got one of my HUD listings under contract due to close here in the next week or so.
I'd say that's a win, Angela.
Absolutely, big and small. I sell them all.
Big or small, we take them all on Zoom too. I love it. I love it. Okay, cool. Anyone else like to join in? Hi, Lisa. How are you? Thanks for jumping on, dear. What's up, Mike? How are you, brother?
Hi, just let me know if you need any help.
Absolutely. How's my sound, Lisa?
Good, it's
Do
good.
I sound good? Okay. How do I look? I guess we can't change that, so it doesn't matter. Okay. All right. Anything else we'd like to go over before we get started? Cool. So Jeff and Kelly, they're on a plane to actually I don't know where they're going, but they're not available to do this call. They've asked me to jump in and rock and roll, so that's exactly what we'll do. I've got a quick little presentation to share with you guys. I call it my REO 101, how to position yourself to receive REO assignments. So we're going to go into that in great detail. So you can go ahead if you'd like. You can raise your hand and we can stop, because a lot of times what I found is this isn't a presentation just to hear me speak. This is a presentation for you to go, oh, wait a second. I have a question about that very thing, Robert, that you're talking about. So raise your hand, put in the chat. If it's in the chat, it won't get answered until the end. But if it's a raise the hand because of specifically a topic that we're talking about, raise your hand and let's go over. That's how this is going to run. Is that cool? Just do this. You can just go ahead and go. There we go. Okay, good. So I'm super excited. I'm recording for those guys, and they can replay it for you when they put it on there. So my name is Robert Weichelt. I'll be your host today for the internal REO for our revenue share organization. This is for everybody that's involved here at eXp in our organization. This is the inside look at what's happening. The third Thursday of every month is the external REO. So if you have any agents that have, an idea that they want to get into the REO space or already in the REO space, that's where you want to drive them to that. But this is an internal. So this is a place for you to not only come and learn about the REO business, take it to the next level, but also bring in your organization to this call. So why am I hosting this today for these guys? Well, Jeff and I met many years ago at an REO conference, and so we were fast friends immediately. I've been in the real estate industry since 1986. And the REO market reared its ugly head in the early 90s. And I call it the glue stick era. That is when we would go out, get an assignment, we'd run to the property, take our photos, go to the 1 hour photo, get them developed, run back to the office, get out our addendum, the legal size paper, and glue stick our photos onto the addendum. And the BPOs were literally this thick. Fast forward to the early 2000s, it obviously got a little bit more technologically friendly. Instead of just doing it all with a typewriter, that was really fun. I was approved with 44 different REO companies, lots mostly asset management companies. I worked with Freddie Mac and I scored in the 1%. Why that's important is 1% means that's the best you can get. 10% being you're literally fired and removed from their database. I had REO and short sale teams in 38 states, and I closed 3,500 REO transactions just the last REO market. We were averaging about 385 active listings at a time. It was bananas. I'm a proud member of the eXp family. I'm a broker associate in Southern California. I have been traveling the United States in our RV, so I basically have been setting up teams all over the country. I also do the eXp REO certification course with Kelvin and Ben Barber, who do the REO certification at eXp. It's a great certification, and but it needs to be done on a yearly basis. It needs to be updated. What eXp is doing is they see that there's a need for an REO default expert because that market's coming hot. We've got notice of defaults. We've got notice of trustee sales. If you pay attention to how they relate into your market, pay attention to the notice of default and the notice of trustee sales and be a resource for them. Let's see. I think we got some more folks trying to jump in. So I'm going to open this up just to make sure. Got a couple more people going on. Cool. Right. Typical REO fashion. One thing to remember in REO is on time is late. That's always a big thing. That's kind of the unspoken rule. On time is late. Early is so much better. So with that said, I'm going to go over just a couple of really cool things that I like to share on my REO trainings. You as eXp agents, knowing that we can bring agents onto our organization, many more. A lot of agents are going to start paying attention to the REO space, but they're not going to start positioning and taking action. So it's our job to, number one, is get positioned, get ready. We're looking for coachable, dedicated agents nationwide. Some markets are different. California, Texas, Florida, the Sun states, the Sun Belt states, those are the states that are really going to start really getting momentum, but you're starting to see a lot of stuff going on across the country. So pay attention to that. And what you want to do is when you're reaching out to your agents that maybe want to get into the REO space, we need to make sure that they're quality, because the last thing you want to do is refer somebody that's terrible. That has happened. I've had friends in the industry that you just don't know their work ethic when it comes down to it, and they're late on their tasks. So if you refer somebody to an REO asset manager and they're always late on their tasks, they're just not doing the great job, your asset manager is probably not going to rely on, hey, Robert, thanks for sending me that agent, but let's not do that again. So make sure we're looking for good, coachable, dedicated agents nationwide, because asset managers call me all the time. I got a call not too long ago. Robert, who do you have in Dover, Delaware? I was like, I don't even know where that is. My point is, they're calling us all the time looking for, who do you have in this market? Who do you have in this market? So it's important that we be able to refer quality agents. That's why I like eXp doing their certification course on a yearly basis, because they are forward thinking, knowing that this is going to be a market, knowing that they can refer top-notch agents that are, eXp is going after the corporate account and directing that opportunity to us agents. So I want to go over and just kind of share some of the things that I want to talk about today. And again, just pop up your hand on the screen. I'll be certain to reach out to you at that point. So today's agenda is basically REO. Are they still viable? You check the notice of default and the notice of trustees in your market and see what's going on in your market as it relates to the REO default kind of thing. So it's always good to get them pre-foreclosure, because once it goes post-foreclosure, it's too late for the homeowner. And then that's more of a different relationship. So I think working with the pre-foreclosure is certainly going to position yourself properly. So getting positioned, that is what REO is all about. It's a hurry up and wait kind of thing. We need to make sure we're positioned, and I'll share some ideas. Some of this might be remedial to few of you, and some it won't. That's okay. But positioning is key. Knowing the 6 steps to REO success, I'm going to dive into that. But positioning yourself is going to be the most important thing we talk about. Now, is REO coming? Well, a lot of people say, oh, we've got too much equity. Well, I got news for you. Pay attention to the notice of default, notice of trustees. You're going to hear me say that about 1 billion times. Pay attention to that default space. Opportunities are coming up. Go to Equator, go to Property Radar, go to those different platforms so you can see what's going on in the REO space, and be prepared, be positioned. REO servicers are recruiting agents right now for the market that's to come. They're going to build up their database of agents that are doing great job with the BPO, that are being responsive, that are getting things done, whether it be inspections, and like I mentioned, the BPO. So make sure you're being a resource, because assignments still exist, right, Angela? You just got one the other day, a HUD. I mean, those, I think personally, my opinion, HUD, the reverse mortgage, VA, and some of the lower down payment Fannie products are going to be the first to come, because there's not a lot of skin in the game. So they don't have the equity that everybody else is enjoying. Then you're going to go to a Freddie Mac type of scenario where they do a lot of investment. So they need at least a certain, good amount of money down. But the investors are going to be next up on that. The FHA, VA, then you're going to find the investors saying, hey, I'm not going to lose my personal residence, so I'm going to lose the investment property first. If I need to give one back, I'm going to give back the investment property first, in most cases, not all. So pay attention to that comes in. By doing that, getting plugged in to the different associations and and we'll go over, REO Mac, which is NADP. We'll go over DS News, which is 5-star. We're going to go into that. And it's in terms of being at events and watching and reading, staying in tune with the different publications going on as it relates to default. Now, the question is it going to come in a tsunami or of a consistent set of waves? I think personally, the market can't bear a tsunami of just boom, blast you with a bunch of foreclosures. I think you're going to see it trickle out and then expand as needed. So I think that's what's going to happen. You'll see some constant set of waves coming in, but it's mostly going to be, you'll know when it's here, and then it'll be a wave you can ride. Now, I always like to start off with, I do not want anyone losing their home. I don't want anyone to lose their home. I'm a big fan of working with the notice of default, notice of trustees market. Currently, the homeowner still owns the property. So it makes me feel good. I reach out to them. Hey, let's go over what it's going to take to keep your home. Most cases, I can't remember any case that a seller says, I don't want to keep my home, I want to get rid of it. They all want to keep their home, and they want to go through the options of doing that, but oftentimes most of them can't. So I think that it's really important that we reach out to the pre-foreclosures. Number one of the 6 steps. Okay, 6 steps to REO success. I'm going to write, you can write this down, or you can just try to remember it, but I certainly recommend writing it down. Number one thing you need to do is have your REO resume. You need to have your REO resume. Then you start registering with the banks. Then you start accepting BPOs in that order. If they don't know who you are, they certainly can't send you work. And it starts with the BPO. Your REO resume, register with the banks, accepting the BPOs. Now, you don't have a list of the REO banks. I know Jeff has a very, very robust internal for this call specifically that he doesn't share with anyone else, a list of REO asset management companies that you should be reaching out to. Number 2, the REO and BPO portals like Equator, ResNet, and others, right? Pyramid, those are the guys. The big 3 really are Equator, ResNet, and Pyramid. Number 3, you need to complete a rockstar BPO. I'm talking about a BPO that you can use as leverage to get the REO assignment. I can tell you this for fact. If you do a terrible BPO, the chances of you getting the REO assignment are slim and none. So make sure you're doing those BPOs. Don't be that agent that says, oh, I don't want to do BPOs, I only want to do REO. I think that if you choose wisely, you're going to do a lot of BPOs to get that ball rolling. Then they're going to go, hey, Angela, you did a great job on the BPO. She's my go-to no matter what, because most agents do a terrible BPO, and it starts with a BPO. Now, you got to be careful. There's a lot of BPO mills that don't even use your information. You do the BPO for them. They scrub your name off of it and send it in and give you what, 15, 20 bucks. You got to caution yourself on those. But Equator, ResNet, those are the big boys. Opening the new assignment. We're going to go into opening the new assignment, kind of cradle to grave, all the things that you need to do. Your experienced REO broker is going to know exactly what to do. I mean, I see Angela's REO network jacket right there. Love it. And you're going to need to know cradle to grave, how to handle all the many moving parts of an REO. There's so many more things. It's more of a property management meets rehab meets traditional real estate all boiled into one thing. So there's a lot of moving parts, cradle to grave. You are scored on everything. We're going to go into that. We're going to go into cash for keys, how important that is. When you get a property that's, done a cash for keys, oftentimes you get the property in as little as banged up as possibility. We don't want a banged up property if we can avoid it. Cash for keys is great. It gives the occupant, whether it's the tenant or the previous owner, but at the end of the day, they're all the occupant at that point, gives them an opportunity to move out of the home on a specific date so we can get that home marketed, get it the highest and best price, and get it closed for that asset management company. The better job you do, the more assignments you'll get. The reason why I like the corporate market, the REO market, working with REO corporations, is because it's treated like a corporation. It works really well with my way of doing business. I'm not so much the warm and fuzzy, oh yeah, what a beautiful home. I just, that's not my style. I'm a corporate guy. I like to get in there, get them the highest and best price, shortest amount of time, least amount of liability, hassle and expense, boom, wash and repeat, keep going. So that's kind of my thing, but I think the cash for keys is good. And the last thing, if you have any property management experience, I think it's going to come in handy. It's going to come in really handy because there's property preservation. I mean, Angela could attest to this. How many times have we received a property that was like banged up? They're banged up, especially in the beginning. It needs a massive trash out. It needs a massive, you got to clean all that stuff just to see what you're working with. And you need carpet, paint, you need those kinds of things. So property preservation, understanding, having your vendors. I like to have at least 3 general contractors on call, speed dial, ready to rock and roll. Oftentimes the banks will go, Robert, who do you like? Let's use your guy. Cool. What you don't want to do is go, oh yeah, I got to go find somebody. You're going to need a contractor to introduce you to their subs, whether it be carpet, paint, electrical, whatever, just in traditional real estate. So I would recommend, if you don't do anything, reach out to 3 GCs, 3 general contractors, and build a relationship with them. Somebody that's going to share their subs with you, somebody that's going to share the information and be a response right there on the spot. A rekey guy is like super important. If you have an unlawful detainer and you don't have a rekey, I know agents that try, oh, I can rekey it myself. That's not what they're talking about. They want a full professional locksmith that does this for you. So property preservation, accounting. That's a big one, right, Angela? I know you're going, oh man, accounting, doing reimbursements could really kind of bite you if you're not paying attention. For example, the banks will say, hey, Robert, can you go ahead and turn on the power for this home? To, hey, Robert, can you do this, and this to preserve the property? Will it reimburse you back? And if you don't follow the letter of exactly their instructions, with the pre and post photos, with the actual proof of payment, with the process going to their website and doing all these things, you're in jeopardy of losing money. And even if you're on top of your REO accounting game, I'm going to tell you one quick story because I think you can learn from this. We were rocking. I had like 15 staff. It was crazy. And the reimbursements, I had a full-time accountant and a part-time accountant, and the reimbursements were just going. And I was promoting my junior accountant to a full-time accountant as well. And she moved her desk. Those little black little binders they have on your desk and you put papers in them like incoming mail. She put in $33,000 worth of termite repairs that we were supposed to upload in 30 days or less, upload, give photos, get receipts so we can get reimbursed. Fast forward to about 33, 34 days after she moved, put stuff on top of the inbox, put it aside, and didn't realize it until we got a notification that we were coming due on something, and we lost $33,000 in termite repairs. We had to do the repairs. We had to pay for those, but we could not get reimbursed because we passed the time frame. So I tell that story so learn from my mistake, not your own. Look for the potholes. On offer desk, oftentimes we'll get a property that, this investor says, give us the top 5 offers. And some investors say, give me every last one of them, regardless if it's for $1 or not. That's their internal, and it's not something you can say, well, this guy does it this way, you should too. I recommend against that. But offer desk, I had to pull off some people, send them to the offer desk because we had 86 offers on one property. We had to submit every single last one of them. only to counter the top 5. Now, wouldn't that have been easier if I just gave you the top 5? My point is, you need to understand the assignment when they send it to you. For instance, if it's Fannie, Fannie has their rules and their expectations. Freddie has their own set of rules and expectations. A lot of times people will just say, well, this is the way I do it for Fannie, I'll do it this way for Freddie. Every single investor, every single assignment has their specific rules and regulations and expectations. So, and obviously a transaction coordinator, if you don't have a transaction coordinator in the REO space, consider yourself wackadoodle, because if you will not be able to handle it. So any questions on the 6 steps to REO success? The resume, doing BPOs. What we're going to go over is the cradle to grave, cash for keys, and property preservation. Any questions on that stuff? No? Good. It's pretty elementary, right?
Robert, Mike
Go ahead, Mike.
Shabansky.
Hi,
Hey, with regard to the TC, who pays for the TC services?
I do. I usually have, it depends on how much business you're doing. If you're doing, a couple transactions a month, you, the agent, pay for the TC. You can have your seller pay for it, the buyer. I pay for it myself. In the REO days, I had a full-time transaction coordinator, ended up getting 2 or 3, as we grew. But yeah, that's on us. That's an expense that we pay for. So yeah, you need a TC. Make sense?
Right. I know. I've got a TC. I was just curious because I used to do the old professional services for $500. I'm wondering if they allow that.
Yeah, typically REO doesn't allow you to do any of that kind of stuff.
Additional terms.
Yeah, they don't.
Okay.
They don't get, you don't get to
Gotcha.
write the listing agreement. They give you the master listing agreement, and then they give you the assignment per property. And yeah, this is what the listing agent gets, period. And you have to pay it out of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So
Robert,
if traditional real estate, you should have a TC. When you get into the REO space where you're getting 4, 5, 10, 15, 20 listings, assignments a day, in some cases, you have to have a transaction coordinator. You got to think that way. You got to delegate your stuff. That's not where you do your best time. Pushing papers, no bueno. Cool.
Hey, Robert, Michael
Yeah.
from.
Go ahead.
Where are you finding the notice of default? Do you pay for service to get those two?
I do. I use myplusleads.com.
My Plus Leads. Okay.
I'll put a promo link in the chat box for you if you'd like. It saves you a couple of bucks a month. It's not, you're not getting rich off it, but it's the good way to go. You want to do FSBOs, expireds, and pre-foreclosure. That's my opinion. As a traditional real estate agent in the market taking listings, that's what you should do. And I'll put it in the chat box before we end up here. Is that cool?
Yep.
Cool. And there's other
Robert?
companies like RedX, there's Land Voice. I don't care. There's lots of different opportunities. I personally use My Plus Leads. It's just better for me. Any other questions before we move on?
Yeah. We have a question from Angela Filkins. Do we have a comprehensive list of REO websites and platforms to sign up on?
Yes.
Yeah, I know we have one that we can share. I'll ask Kelly about it.
Yeah. I can, Jeff can share one with you, and so can I. I have the same list.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you.
And if you have any other questions, just put it in the Lisa, if you're going to run the chat box, that's awesome. So we don't miss anything.
Yeah.
If you want to put your hand up or put it in the chat box, thanks, Lisa. Okay. So
problem.
agent challenges. I think the biggest thing that we're seeing is, where are they? Where are these asset management companies, right? I mean, what's going on here? Okay. Hold on. Okay. Okay. That threw me off. Okay. Agent challenges. Let's go over those. The out of area institutional sellers. Where are they? Where are these people? How do you get a hold of them? Well, that list will certainly help you. Changing bank procedures. Like I mentioned earlier, make sure that you check every assignment that comes in and read it specifically. They give you cash for keys requirements or, guidelines. They'll give you reimbursement guidelines. They'll give you commission guidelines. They'll give you everything that you need. Rekey, if it's a certain key cut, there's all these things they'll give you. So I'm old school, just so we're clear. I have a copy of everything that they tell me. I just put it in a PDF though. I used to print them all out. It was crazy. We had folders all over the office. It was terrible. I would take a screenshot of their instructions and save it in the PDF. Usually they send it to you in a PDF. The changing bank procedures. Sometimes they use this rekey. key cut, and sometimes they change. So you need to make sure, don't assume that Fannie's been doing it this way forever. Just assume that it's the same way. Each property may have a different end investor with different sets of guidelines. So you need to make sure that you're paying attention to the bank procedures. Look at each assignment as it comes in. The other challenge is getting the business. Whether, sure, you can go into all these register for all these different companies, but now what? Going to a 5-star conference, going to NADPs. They have 2 summits a year, one on the West Coast, one on the East Coast. I find that those are the 2 biggest. There are some other opportunities, but I think if you're just getting rolling, you sign up with the banks, you go to the conferences, the 5 stars and the NADPs. That's where you start building relationships. Financial resources. A lot of agents think that it costs a lot of money to be an REO. It costs a couple bucks. Don't get me wrong. I think I would personally, if I was you, from now until the end of this year, I would save, $100 or $200 a month and put it in an account, call it REO account. And so, because you're going to need to have a couple bucks up front to rekey a property, to do a quick board up, to do a quick trash out, those types of things. So you're going to need some money that you'll pay up front. Oftentimes what'll happen is you do the expense, then you get the copy of the receipt, then you get a copy of their approval saying, go ahead and do it. Then you got before and after photos, then you upload it, then you get paid back. And that oftentimes takes 30, 45 days, sometimes 60. By the time you get that paid back, you already have money going out. So I'd recommend have a couple grand in an account set aside that says REO account, and that's all you use it for. Worst case, if you decide not to get into the REO, you got $1,000 up in a side account and you go out and go to Vegas. Who knows? My point is, be ready. That's part of the positioning process. Be ready. Have that account, because the last thing you want to do is be going, oh man, I haven't closed a deal in a while. I can't pay for a rekey up front, and tell the bank that you can't do that. Because a lot of these asset management companies that you're signing up for actually says, do you have the financial wherewithal to handle this kind of business? They'll ask you. Now, you can get a lot of accounts that don't do any reimbursements, having the agent pay, but the bigger accounts, I find that they want to make sure that, because time is of the essence, they want to make sure they're not slowing it down. So put together an account, earmark it REO, and just put it aside, 100, 200, however much. Once you get registered for these banks, you got to stand out. What are you doing to stand out? Now you're registered for these banks. Now what I would do is I'd go in, you can go to their website and reach out to the asset managers that way. You can go to LinkedIn. A lot of times you can find them there. As you start doing business with them, you obviously, every time you talk to somebody, whether it be a REO or a BPO request, save them in a folder, save their contact, reach out to them on a fairly regular basis, like you would your sphere of influence. Just like your sphere of influence, you need to reach out to these REO asset managers and say things like, hey, listen, this is the beginning of a really great relationship. I want to make sure I'm a resource for you. If you have any need for city and or county ordinances as it relates to the default REO foreclosure space, I want to be there. I want to keep you up to date. Send them articles that say, here's the new guidelines dated this date on vacant properties. For instance, there's a city in San Diego called Chula Vista. When we got assignments in Chula Vista and their grass was starting to die, oftentimes if people are behind in their payments, they're not keeping up with their grass. I can tell you that. Their yard is going out the window. The grass, sometimes the weeds are taller than the house. You know which home I'm talking about. The city of Chula Vista waits. They don't put the levy on the homeowner. They wait until the new owner, the bank, gets it, because they know the banks will satisfy those. They sometimes do $1,000 per diem. That could add up. So if you know what's going on in your market, share that with your asset managers. This is what's happened in San Diego as it relates to vacant and or abandoned properties. Boom. Robert Whitekill, your resource in San Diego. Boom. Make sense? Knowing what the banks score on. If you have any kind of REO experience, you know that there's a scoring system, right? You accept a BPO, they score you on the time it took you to accept it, the time it took to complete it. If there's any changes, if there's any second request, if there's any lates, you get scored on everything, knowing what the banks score on. So just assume, like I mentioned early, if it's on time, it's late. Always do it early. Cool. Questions on that? Kind of a big deal. Okay, good. the skills that you need in the REO space. Now, a lot of you folks that have been in the business before knows that it's nothing different than what you're currently doing, guys. We're evaluating properties just like we do in traditional real estate. We're helping. The only thing that might differ is vacating, like offering cash for keys. We don't do a lot of that unless you get an investor that has a tenant and then you're getting involved. But the high percentage of the kind of business we're doing, we're evaluating properties every day. We're managing them. It's our listing. We're managing those, right? So we know how to market the property. We know how to sell it. Those are really the only special skills you're going to need for REO. A lot of people say, well, I don't know if I have what it takes for REO. If you're doing listings right now, that's all you need. Now, if you're not doing listing right now, that's a different story, because if I was an asset manager and I said, how many listings have you done this year? And you've got none, I'd be a little suspect on sending you business. So word of the wise, go out, start taking listings, working with the pre-foreclosure, transition into the REO space. That's the kind of information they want to hear. I was a really good agent in the early 2000s. That probably won't cut it either. You need to have right now, here we go, listing experience. Okay, cool. Here's some farming sites that you can go to in addition to the list that Jeff will send you on the REO asset management companies. That's an internal list, by the way. Don't share it with anyone outside of this organization. That's just, that makes us, we want to keep our competitive edge. And also add value to the agents we work with. I would go to foreclosure.com. Super important. Go there, see what's going on. You can type in your zip code and you'll tell you everything that's happening. Property Radar. Now, Jeff and I both use Property Radar. It used to be called Foreclosure Radar. And then Sean O'Toole rebranded it to be more open normal market, because the REO and short sales were kind of going away in 12, 13, right around that time. And it was transitioning to a different market. So Property Radar it's like $100 a month, but I think if you have that budget, I would definitely recommend it. Realty Track's a great place. You can go to Realty Track. Lane Guide. That's where the escrow companies go to find asset management companies' payoff information, name, rank, serial number, the whole thing. That's Lane Guide's a great place. And of course, I talked about My Plus Leads. My Plus Leads is my go-to for FSBO's expireds, but I also have added the pre-foreclosure NOD, NOT. And again, I'll put that in the chat box in a moment for everybody to take advantage of it. There's a 14-day free trial, and I think it's the only thing I use, just so we're clear. Okay, moving on. REO BPO platforms. If you are not on ResNet, that's res.net, equator.com, or pyramidplatform.com. If you're not on those three, you need to be. Those are the first three that you need to sign up for right now, right this second. As soon as we're done here, or even on this call, go sign up, make sure you have a profile. Now, if you have a profile, you got to go and update some information, update your resume, update your photo, update your E&O insurance every year, update your broker's license or your salesperson's license. Go in there on a fairly regular basis. Like, I would time block an hour or two per month. Once you've gone through and uploaded all your information to all this list, this list of REO and asset management companies, once you've updated it, then go in there and time block about an hour or two every month, once a month. I would personally do it right after the REO third Thursday. That's when I do it. I time block another hour. I've already got that momentum going. I'm getting a lot of good stuff. And that's when I do my REO updates right after that meeting. But go in there and update your E&O, update your license. If there's nothing to update, update your resume, update your bio, add things. Keep expanding and polishing it up. Those are the three. And then go to reonetwork.com. Get a free profile. Who is not on reonetwork.com? Yeah, Angela, great. Change your photo. Instead of you got that one with the old cell phone, remember those ones? Who's in REO Network? Show of hands. Raise your hand and put it in the chat box. Who is a member of REO Network? The free member. I personally, I know Jeff he's been a platinum member since I think REO Network came out. I do both. I'm a fan of not spending a whole bunch of money on those kinds of things. So it's just in the beginning, like you're going to be asked to upgrade. Like every time you sign up for somebody, you're going to ask me, well, do you want the platinum level? No, I want the basic. Then I'll add it as necessary. Then I'll add it as we go, because there's a lot of money grabs in REO. I think Bubba Mills has probably the best training in the biz, just to let you know. I think Bubba Mills is fantastic. And I'm going to share some other stuff with you here in a minute. But REO Network, go in there, get a free profile, and then see who else is in your market and have some, just to see what they're doing. Go to their resumes, see which ones are dialed. Go into the ones that have upgraded and look at their profile. That's what yours should look like. Okay, cool. Any questions on that? Okay, good. The next thing we want to go over is we talked about the REO and BPO platforms. We want to talk about the different resources. I'd write these down. dsnews.com. If you're not a member of DS News, you need to be. Go into their daily dose and get their daily email. It tells you everything that's going on. Hit the default servicing, and then they'll tell you all the stuff that's happening in the default space. That's how you pay attention of what's going on. Default Pro, that is formerly known as REOMAC, now NADP, which stands for a National Association of Default Professionals. That's the granddaddy of them all. 5-star and NADP. Those are the conferences you need to go to. So go to dsnews.com for 5-star. Go to defaultpro.org, defaultpro.org, and see all the different REOMAC events. Go right through their events page. They'll tell you when they got webinars, they've got trainings, they've got meetings, they've got a lot of great stuff. And of course, the REO Alliance, which you're all members of. REO Alliance has an incredible Facebook group. Make sure you're in that Facebook group. And you know what I'm going to do, Lisa? I'm going to send you an email with everything I told you I will send you. I've already got a prepared, ready to rock and roll email. Lisa, I'll send it to you and you can disseminate it out as you see fit.
Yes.
Because I don't want to blast everyone's email box.
Yeah.
Plus, I
no
don't have
problem.
everyone's email. What?
We'll post it in the REO default REO default in workplace.
Good. Excellent. Perfect. And then so the REO Alliance, that's on Facebook, not in Workplace. REO Alliance is in Facebook. Go to Facebook, go to the REO Alliance. Again, that link will be in the email that I sent to you, Lisa.
Yes.
REO Mastermind, eXp Workplace, going to REO Mastermind. And there's a lot of great stuff that Kelvin and his whole team put in there. Always great stuff. There's a list of REO and BPO companies. You get your E&O insurance. You got everything you're going to need to grow your REO business. So REO Mastermind, that's in eXp Realty's Workplace. Cool. And you know what I'm going to do also, Lisa? I'm going to send you this my notes from the meeting. I'll send it to you as well. And you can feel free to share that with everyone as well.
Yeah. As I've
Cool.
said,
Okay.
the recording and the notes will be on the REO default RRG. We will post it after.
Cool.
With
Okay,
it,
moving
yeah.
along. We don't got much time left. Think about it, guys. Do you have a resume? Now, not just a resume, an REO resume. That's why I want you to go to the REOnetwork.com, go to REOnetwork.com, see what the agents, the top agents that are paying for their membership, see what they're doing, because that's what their resume is. Their success stories, how many homes have you sold, how many days on market, those kinds of things. I will have a copy of my resume inside that email that I'm going to send to Lisa. Okay, cool. Things like gross volume on your resume, REO experience, training and certifications. What is your marketing plan on selling properties? I'll put that in there. REO services offered. Do you have somebody that can rekey a home in 24 hours? Do you have somebody who can get out there and do a trash out, an initial clean, initial yard, repairs, board ups, evictions, monthly updates? These are the things that you'll be doing on the REO business. You'll be doing, I had a listing that I just closed. I think it was like almost 2 years from the time I received the assignment to the time that we settled on cash for keys. It took so long. The bank gave them a huge check for cash for keys and said, leave it. I had to remove, it was the biggest trash out I've ever seen in my life. There was so much trash. It's almost like, picture this. They just started throwing trash out their window. Didn't even use a trash can anymore. They just threw it out the window all around the house. It was so much trash that we found 2 cars underneath these big piles of trash. So my point is, it took 2 years just to get to that. Then they finally just said, here's cash for keys, get out. And it was understand how that works. But the biggest thing on your resume, guys, is your zip codes. What zip codes do you service? Where do you specialize? I am in San Diego, and every single zip code in San Diego County is on my resume. What's going to happen is you're going to copy and paste everything on your resume into the platforms in which you're signing up for. So make sure you know those zip codes. You're taking everything. San Diego is not that big, so it's no problem. I can be anywhere in San Diego in about 35 minutes, right? If I need to, or if my team needs to. I'm in actual Kentucky right now, so it'll be a little hard for me to go do an inspection, wouldn't you say? But I got a good team. I've got a great team of agents on the ground. I've got a great team of contractors on the ground. I can take an REO, get it done, deploy it. I could be on the moon and I'm still getting stuff done. Does that make sense? That's how you want to run it. So know your zip codes. Let me go ahead. Who's got something? Got a question, someone? Okay, good. REO identity. We right now wouldn't want to send an email to a seller. Hey, this is Robert Weichelt, REO specialist. They're like, whoa, wait a second. Our emails, we need to have 2 separate emails signatures, one for traditional real estate, and 3 if you're agent attracting, because you want to have one agent centric. You want to have one for traditional sellers, a default specialist email signature, and you want to have a one that's agent attraction friendly with maybe a video testimonial from each different person based on what that is. Does that make sense? 3 email signatures is super important. I know that a lot of times the Yahoos and the Gmails and the AOLs, a lot of times those fall on deaf ears. They go into spam filters that they're so aggressive you don't get the REO or BPO assignments. So I would personally, I have Robert at robertweichelt.com, and I get, sure, some goes to junk, but at least I'm notified that it's there. If you have a Yahoo or Gmail, I would recommend you go out and buy your first name, last name.com and make that your REO email. So that's just me. Now, who's the ideal REO agent? 5 years experience, right? That's what, if you go and register for these banks, they're saying, well, you need to be 5 years of real estate experience and 3+ years of REO experience. Not a lot of people have a lot of REO experience in the last few years. I mean, there's some, Angela and I, myself, the REO brokers, we never really stop being REO agents. It's just not the biggest bulk of our production. We got to balance that stuff out. But most agents don't have the experience that the banks ask for. My recommendation, sign up anyway. Go out and take listings traditionally, go out and do BPOs, because BPOs equals experience in most cases. You have experience doing valuations. You have experience doing BPOs. You experienced. That's what they're looking for. What they don't want is somebody that says, oh yeah, I've been in the business 2 years. I've got no REO experience. But here's what happens. Like that agent in Dover, Delaware, they're looking for an agent. They will be not so critical of your experience as long as they can get a hold of you and you get stuff done on time. That's how you build a relationship. That's how the good relationships start, is when you do somebody a solid, do a BPO on a rush, be a resource. That's when the relationships go and they introduce you to every single asset management company, asset manager in that building. It just takes one and then they introduce you to everyone else. So pay attention to that. Do you understand how to speak REO? You don't call it a REO, I hope, right? It's an REO, real estate owned. Now, there's a lot of different things, knowing the process, knowing, cash for keys. Now, you don't need to be an attorney, but you need how to understand what a BPO is, a broker's price opinion, those kinds of things. Really have the basics. Again, you have to have the financial resources, in my opinion, $200 a month, save it into an account that says REO, because that'll come in handy. Trust me. You need to implement and follow systems. There's a lot of moving parts. You need to understand how to read instructions. You know what RDR is? Does anybody know what RDR means? Realtors don't read. We need to make sure that we're reading the guidelines, because it's so easy to go, oh yeah, I do it this way all the time. And that's not how it's supposed to be done. Don't assume, read, implement systems. Some of the next things, how about getting business? Don't forget, Jeff has the list of REO companies, but you can go to mortgage lenders and servicers, credit unions, of course, HUD and VA. Those are great scenarios. The asset management companies are going to be where the most bulk of your business comes from. Right now, it's the reverse mortgage space and the hedge fund managers. The hedge funds are really, that's where the bulk of the business that at least I've been doing. We do have some HUD listings here and there, but nowhere near where I think it will be. So just pay attention to that. BPO. I'm gonna tuck on BPO in a minute. We only got about 6 minutes left, so I'm gonna blast through this real quick. Open up some Q&A here in a couple minutes. Do a great BPO. Let the BPO speak for itself. Let the BPO say, "Wow, Robert, you crushed it. Thank you," and you're locked in. You're locked in. They're not only going to send you more business, they're going to share your name with everyone else in their office. Then when that asset manager goes to that asset management company, guess what's going to happen? Boom. It's like a weed. It just grows, right? So make sure you kick ass on the BPO. I cannot tell you enough. If it's doing 48 hours, do it in 24. Very rarely will you get a request for a 24-hour BPO. It happens absolutely. Do it in 12. Stop what you're doing, go get it. An assignment comes to you and says, "Hey, congratulations, Angela, here's a new assignment." Don't wait till Friday to accept it. Accept it now. Go out there and inspect the property if it's available. If not, you do it the first thing in the morning. Just because it's Saturday, it's okay. I cannot tell you how many times my bride has gone on assignment. It was fun. It's our weekend, kind of thing. So my point is, accept them right away, and then go out there and respond. Take the photos, get the thing done, accept it, get the done, and go to the next task and get it done as soon as possible. I cannot tell you enough. BPOs are the way in the door. When you get the listing, know how cash for keys works. Know how getting them out is the best interest of the seller, because the sellers, they're not paying, they're not getting their assets costing them money. Holding time is a killer. So we need to get those cash for keys. If it's occupied, if it's vacant, we need to rekey it and get it going right away. Make sense? That's all that all makes sense. Okay. I don't like to spend too much time on that. I still don't know why people put cement in the toilets, but it's going to be something that kind of comes in a lot. So you're going to see some of these properties when you get the assignment. You're going to go, "Holy cow, what is going on here?" They took the baseboards, they took the ceiling fans and the copper out of the wall in many cases. It's like, oh my God, that's REO. So those of you who have not seen an REO property, it's not like what a traditional listing looks like in most cases. So have some fun with that. Let's see. I think the couple other things, I'm just kind of going off a punch list. I think that doing BPOs right now is something I'd recommend. Start doing BPOs. And you want to start doing BPOs at a very high level. You want to get that system down. You want to get it going where you go out and inspect 5 different properties. You're going to go home and you're going to jump on your computer. You're going to get your comps in. You're going to do your remarks, and you're going to get it out. And you're going to get it. You may get $50. Who knows? Don't do it for the money. Do it for the momentum. But make sure that these are the companies that are going to send you REO business. For instance, I'm doing BPOs for Clearwater. A lot of times those don't work out. But if I'm doing a BPO for, like, say, Stonecrest or one of these hedge funds, I know that BPO is going to lead to an REO assignment, and oftentimes you don't get paid for those. I like those. I want free BPOs. If I can put a sign up that says, "I'll do all your free BPOs," that's me. Because the ones that you get paid for oftentimes aren't the ones you're going to be getting as an assignment. Make sense? So be careful with your time. Be careful about the money grabs. "Oh, if you sign up with this, you get all this list, and you get all these things, get $297, sign up for." My personal opinion, sign up with the big 3, Equator, ResNet, Pyramid, right? Go into REO Network for free, sign up for them, and then sign up with every single asset management company on that list that Jeff provides you. Sign up, and then you can rock and roll and start doing BPOs for them. Be a resource, follow up, okay? Be the market expert. So I like that. But in the meantime, guys, I want to leave with this. Make sure that you do not lose sight of FSBOs, expireds. Pre-foreclosure helps you to transition to post-foreclosure. Don't forget to reach out to your attorneys. Don't forget to reach out to your investors. But the most important thing you should not ever lose sight of is following up with your circle of influence, your sphere of influence, people that know, love, and trust you, people that you've done business with before. Do not forget about them, because if you do, someone else is following up with your database. So we need to do business now as we transition into future REO business. Make sense? Make sense? Anyone questions? Okay, let's see. Just a couple more things I want to share. I wrote some notes down. I think the biggest thing is we've realized the opportunities there. We realize that there's an opportunity. We need to understand the challenges. We need to make sure we're bridging the gap, keep getting educated. I mentioned a couple of different avenues, like eXp has great certification training. I might sue myself. There's, Bubba Mills that we talked about, but you have the resources beyond these calls. Okay. I learned so much from being on Jeff's REO calls, but education and resources, that's the key. You have the resources. You just need to make sure we sharpen our education. If you've already been in the REO business before, it's time to get reintroduced of how things are done in that space. Get positioned, get ready, rock and roll. If you ever need me, I do everything I can to get on Jeff and Kelly's morning huddle. Those things, I learned so much from those. So that's what I wanted to go over with you today. I know I went a couple of minutes over, sorry. Any questions, guys, before we let you guys get out of here? I know I blasted through it. I only had an hour. So hopefully I didn't talk too fast, but the good news is you get a recording of this and you can go back and listen to it and pause it and do whatever you need to do. Hopefully I added a little bit of value for some folks out there. If you're new in the business, don't worry about it. Sign up anyway. If you're an old REO hack like myself, doing it since the 90s, there's a lot of opportunity out there. Be a resource for your corporate seller as well as your traditional seller. So that's all I have. Any questions? No questions? Cool. Lisa, thank you for your time. Everybody on this call, thank you. Angela, always good to see you. Michael, thanks for tuning in. And everybody else on here that doesn't have their monitor on, thanks for jumping in. We appreciate you. Did we answer everything, Lisa? Are we good?
Yep, I'll wait for the notes.
Thanks, Robert.
It was my absolute pleasure talking to you guys today.
Thanks, Robert. Bye.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye now.